differences between 32-bit and 64-bit operating system. In computing, there are two types of processors existing, that is 32-bit and 64-bit processors. These types of processors tell us how much memory a processor can access from a CPU register. For instance, a 32-bit can access 2 raised to the power 32 different memory addresses, that is 4 GB of RAM only, or physical memory. Ideally, it can access more than 4 GB of RAM also. A 64-bit system can access 2 to the power 64, that is 2 raised to the power 64 different memory addresses, that is actually 18 quintillion bytes of RAM. Would you believe it? In short, any amount of memory greater than 4 GB can be easily handled by it. So, question is, what is a 32-bit operating system? So, most computers made in the 1990s and early 2000s were 32-bit machines. The CPU register stores memory addresses, which is how the processors access data from RAM. One bit in the register can reference an individual byte in memory. So, a 32-bit system can address a maximum of 4 GB of RAM only. The actual limit is often less than around 3.5 GB, since part of the register is used to store other temporary values beside memory addresses. Most computers released over the past 2 decades were basically built on a 32-bit architecture. Hence, most operating systems were designed to run on a 32-bit processor. Now, what is a 64-bit operating system? A 64-bit can theoretically reference to 16 exabytes of memory. That's a huge memory. This is several million times more than an average workstation would need to access. What's important is that a 64-bit computer can access more than 4 GB of RAM. If a computer has 8 GB of RAM, it better has a 64-bit processor. Otherwise, at least 4 GB of the memory will be inaccessible by the CPU. So, what are the basic differences between 32-bit operating system and 64-bit operating system? Number 1, memory. Maximum for 32-bit operating system is 4 GB, and for 64 GB operating system, maximum of several terabytes of RAM you can use. Next feature is the processor. So in case of 32-bit operating system can run on both 32-bit and 64-bit processors, but in case of 64-bit operating system requires a 64-bit processor. Alright. Next is performance. 32-bit limited by the maximum amount of RAM it can access, and for 64-bit it can take advantage of more memory, enabling faster performance. Compatibility can run 32-bit and 16-bit applications in case of 32-bit, but in case of 64-bit can run 32-bit and 64-bit applications. Next is address space. Now, first, in this point, I would like to say that uses 32-bit address space for 32-bit operating system, and for 64-bit operating system, it will access 64-bit address space. Hardware support. 32-bit may not support newer hardware. It doesn't support newer hardware. Even Microsoft has stopped producing 32-bit operating system, that is Windows. And for 64-bit operating system, supports newer hardware with 64-bit drivers. Now, the security. 32-bit has limited security features, and 64-bit has more advanced security features such as hardware level protection. So these were some major differences between the 32-bit and the 64-bit operating system. If you like the video, please leave a like on this video and consider subscribing this channel as well. Your one like and your one subscription is a huge motivation for us to make more and more videos like these. Thanks for watching.